Consortium. Here today to have a conversation on peer review with David Doge, who is the peer review chair of three schools, three charter schools down in South Carolina. David has been a teacher, he's been a guidance counselor, and he has been chair, as I've said, for the last 3 years of the personnel committee of three schools, of three charter schools in Greenville. So we'll begin our conversation now. David, basically the crux of what we've been doing the last number of years with peer review has had a significant impact on how students do in the various schools throughout the consortium. You having worked with three schools, the question is, how does peer review, in your experience, improve student outcomes?
Actually, I think it has an impact in several different ways. First of all, with the self-reflection the teacher writes. I mean, I would love it if I thought every teacher every year evaluated how the performance was that year. But I don't know if that happens formally, but with the self-reflection, which is part of peer review, it definitely is a formal look at how has my year been, and how have my students done, and what have I done for students. And I think I've had teachers tell me how important and how valuable that is to them in terms of designing their curriculum and working with their students. And I think obviously the outcomes of that would be beneficial for the student. Also, the student questions in the peer review process, when the students review the teacher and look at the questions that they are answering regarding, the curriculum that they've been studying, the teacher's relationship to the curriculum, the teacher's relationship to the students. The teacher, again, looks at that, and that's valuable information in helping plan their curriculum. Through the peer review process, the observations, it gives teachers an opportunity to share with each other what they're doing in their classrooms, and it validates what we're doing in the classroom. And so I think, again, that makes us even more accountable to our students.
At all three schools, I know that each teacher does a self-reflection each year,
right.
And then there's a sharing
right.
of the reflections.
Right.
Do you see that as a valuable tool in improving student outcomes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that when we do the readouts, we've done them several different ways in terms of having a large group readout, have small group readout, have pair readout, whatever. But it obviously is. I mean, it is a way for teachers to hear each other talk about what they're doing, what their goals are, what their hopes are, what they want. And teachers learn from each other that way, I think. So yes, absolutely. The readout is valuable. That's an important part of that process.
And when we get to the actual formal peer reviews, when a teacher has put into his or her packet her or his self-reflections, peer reflections, possibly administrative observations, and student reflections. How does that play a role? How do you see that playing a role, again, in improving student outcomes?
Well, again, I think it's the beginning of conversations that the teachers start having with each other. And the other teachers sitting in this thing said, I teach those same kids. I could use that same thing. So it affected how they then started dealing with these students in their classrooms, and these were seasoned teachers, and this is a new teacher coming up with this. So it was, I think again it validates what all of us are doing in our classrooms.